It was incredible. There was still so much more to be found in this yard. Welcome to Finding America. It is really great to see you here. Now, this week's episode starts off right where we left off in last week's episode, at that turn of the century yard. Now, this small yard just gets better and better, and the finds were nonstop from start to finish. I had an absolute blast out there finding America, and I really hope you enjoy watching this episode. Well, just got a 15 right next to the sidewalk going around the house, and dug down. Kind of cool. It's a piece to an old shaving razor. So, nice old piece. Probably going to be like 30s, 40s, into the 50s possibly. Well, got a nice little surprise in this hole. It was giving me a 25-26. You can see the halo in here. I love this yard. The dirt has never been disturbed. Every time you get something really cool, it usually has a halo. And I did pull it out expecting a penny, and I got one, but it's a little surprise. It's actually a Canadian maple leaf, and it's going to be a 1952. So definitely happy to see that. We don't find them that often down here in Tennessee. Well, this one was giving me a nice 24-25 signal, about 5-6 inches down, and I got another weedy. Definitely found a lot of those in this yard, and I went in and cleaned it off. It's going to be a 53 with a Denver mint mark. Well, got another nice early find. Been a little while since I found one of these, but bringing in a 24-25, I got a real nice valve stem retaining nut, and of course that goes on the early cars, usually a Ford Model T, and it came down right there. You can see the halo, and so that's a nice little find, and you can just picture this place with Model Ts pulling up to it. And very cool. Well, I might have something pretty nice in this hole. Getting a really nice soft 13 signal. Thought it might be a deep nickel, but it might be something better. You see this right here? I think I have a tiny little baby ring. And it is a bit shiny, so yeah, look at that. I don't know. It sure is looking promising. I don't know. Kind of looks gold to me. I won't know until I look on the inside, but if it's an older ring, it may not have any markings. It might have a hallmark if I'm lucky, but look how tiny that is. Definitely a little child's ring. Well, let me get it sprayed up and cleaned off, and we'll see what we have. Whew, nice. Well, I'll tell you what, it's a little hard to see on the inside. It's such a tiny ring. I think I might I might see some small hallmarks. But you see sort of a 4-leaf clover pattern, and then towards what I would say is the top of the ring, it has 3 other, I don't know if it's flower pattern, but I will test it when I get home, but I'm pretty confident that this is actually a little child's gold baby ring. Definitely old and definitely awesome. That is sweet. Well, I'm not quite sure what to make of this one. It gave me a 21-22. I can see the halo again down there, so I knew it was down there, and pulled it out. I've wiped it off a little bit. It's kind of an odd piece. I'm thinking it's part to an old shaving razor. I think this is the guard for the razor blade. If it is, it's a really early one. I haven't seen this design before, but very cool piece, and just had to show you that one. Well, another 22-23 signal, about 4 inches down, and got a last year Wheatie, 1958 Philadelphia. Well, I checked the hole with the pinpointer one time before I closed it up, and got another signal down there, and this one's going to be a 41. So nice little 2 Wheatie spill, 41 and 58. Well, I've got something pretty cool in this hole. This one was giving me a 17, and I was hoping for my first Indian from this place, but I think I got something just as good. Again, you can see the halo where it broke out of this dirt clod, and right there, I think I saw some writing on it. I didn't pull it out yet, but I think it's going to be an old trade stimulator token. I find these every so often, and I really like them. Oh yeah, oh, this one's in really good condition. Now a lot of times they say no cash value. Sometimes they say good for a pack of gum. Wow, this one's in excellent condition. So I'm gonna get it cleaned up a little bit, but these were used, they had little trade stimulator machines. They're almost like mini slot machines near the entrance and exits of the stores. And they would give these to a customer, and if it was good for 5 cents in trade, they might get another sale before they left. Well, there it is. This one is a non-winner. It says this token has no cash or trade value. On the other side it says for amusement only. And of course they put that on here to get away from the anti-gambling laws. And it's just a great little piece of history. It's going to date from the early 1900s probably to the 30s. But very cool piece. Well, I just wanted to give you a news update on a couple things from last week's episode. You might recall that awesome Felix the Cat pin that I found. Well, it's certainly still awesome, but it turns out that wasn't Felix the Cat. That was another character from the 1930s, Crazy Cat. So it seems Felix the Cat has clawed its way back onto my bucket list, and Crazy Cat has now been able to be scratched off of it forever. Now, unfortunately, the mystery find from last week, well, it looks like it's going to be remaining a mystery find from now on. I don't think any of us were able to quite figure that one out. And finally, in today's news, you might recall that heavily worn but very cool 5-cent token that I found in last week's episode. I want to give a huge thank you to Kelly Stewart. He took the time the other day to send me a picture of one of those tokens that he had also found. Luckily, his was in much better condition than mine, so now we can see just how cool that old token originally looked. Well, I'll tell you, I actually, almost every single step I take, it's time to get down and dig another hole. And this one was giving me a 12, and I think I got something really cool. But see here, I saw the halo. And then there was more down here, and I started to pull out this piece, and I stopped because it's so cool. And I definitely wanted to just pull it out with you guys. Look at this. That is a very cool old key right there. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, looks like it definitely has a logo. It might be a little bit worn from use, but let me get it cleaned up and I'll be right back. But nice early key, probably teens, 20s, somewhere in there. Well, there it is. It's a Newman or Neumann, and very cool. I don't know if I've dug one of these before, but I tell you, I love the shape of it. Definitely a very early key. Well, whenever you dig up an old key, always check your hole, because a lot of times they were lost in pairs or more than that. And I got another signal, and check it out, it's right here. Let's see what this one looks like. Oh, yeah, it's gonna be another nice old key. Very cool. Let's see. Yeah, I'll have to get that one cleaned up when I get home, but very cool to find two old ones in the same hole. And shoot, let's go ahead and make sure there's nothing else in here. That's it. Two cool old keys. Well, I was getting a 1920 signal here and dug down about 4 inches. Another early wheat, nice green one. I was able to toothpick it enough to see the date. It's going to be a 1910. Well, I like what I see in this hole. I was getting a 13 to 15, kind of bouncing back and forth. Pop the plug. You can see the halo right there in the imprint. And check it out down here. I'm thinking I got a silver war nickel. Oh yeah, definitely. Well, that thing was sitting pretty in that hole. It looks like it's going to be 44. And see if I can see a mint mark. It's hard to make out. There it is. I'm thinking it's a P. Yep. So 44P. A little bit of silver right there. Well, this next signal is a high tone the previous person must have missed. Banging 28-29 signal about 3 inches down. Now, I already kind of pulled it up and I was like, oh my gosh, and I sat it right back down because I want to show you how I saw this when it came out. It is pretty darn cool. But let me just pull it out and check this out. Oh my gosh. Is that not a killer padlock cover? Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Look at that little skeleton key. It says safe. Oh, how awesome is that? I love old padlocks and I have not seen this brand before. And that is just awesome. Going to be turn of the century somewhere in there. Might be 1800's. I can't get enough of that. That is a beauty. Well, I tell you, I'm kind of doing row by row on my knees in this front yard. There are so many signals. As soon as I get a signal, another one pops up. I got another one over there, so I just keep moving up a little bit. It's just loaded. And this one, another 19 to 21 signal. Dug down, you can see the imprint. I have cleaned it off a little bit, but it's a nice early green penny. This one's going to be a 1925. Well, just another foot from my last hole. I get a 19, and I think I finally got one. Here, I'm gonna let you take a look at it. I think I can see a 1 cent wreath on the back. I think I finally got an Indian. Took a while, whole lot of Wheaties. Oh yeah, look at that. That's a beauty too. Ah, that feels good, finally get one. Hopefully that opens some floodgates. I'll tell you what, I'm going to toothpick this and to save some time, and I'll be right back and we'll find out what date it is. Awesome. Well, there she is. And I now have my oldest coin from here also. It's 1892. First year for the Barber series. Quarters, dimes, and halves. And check that out. That is awesome. Well, this time I was getting a nice solid 9, and it's a number I don't like to pass up, especially if you're hunting an old site like a Colonial Civil War. But even out here, if I get a decent 9, nice solid, I'll go for it. And it's pretty cool. I can tell what it is. Now look at that. It looks like a bullet. So I'm going to pull this out. Oh yeah. Yeah, this one hasn't even been fired. That's pretty cool. Definitely got all there. Let me get my towel out and see if I can see the bottom of this thing. Yeah, we're gonna have some kind of a date on it, so I'll get it cleaned up later and get you a better look at that, and we'll see if we can figure out what year it is. Pretty cool. Well, got another 13, and I think I've got a ring in the hole. Just pulled it out, and yeah, this is an oldie. Well, it's a little adjustable ring, so probably a little costume jewelry, but check out that big red stone in it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll tell you what, let me get this sprayed off and get a little better look at it, but definitely an oldie. Well, it is an old adjustable ring. It was gold toned, but I'll tell you what, it was a pretty striking ring. Hopefully you can see some of the detail here. Let me see if I can get this centered in my hand so it'll focus. But definitely some pretty cool early Art Deco. I'll tell you, it's 1910 to 30s, somewhere in there. Pretty sharp looking ring. Put in some apple cider vinegar, probably get a little bit of the gold tone to come out, so that's a cool little piece. Well, it looks like I finally got one. This was kind of buried in between a bunch of other targets, and I finally was able to isolate this little squeaker, and looks like I have silver in the plug right here. Haven't even pulled it out yet. Oh, it's going to be a Rosie, I think. That's all right. It's nice to find a piece of silver. There's a Denver mint mark, and it looks like this one's going to be a 61. So I will definitely take that. Happy to see it. Well, I got a 15 here. Said it was in a plug, and I thought it was just some can slaw, but it looked like it had a design, so I kind of straightened it up, and look at there. I found a unicorn. Definitely wasn't expecting that, and that's pretty cool. There's a bunch of other little signals around here, so I'm afraid there's probably little unicorn pieces all over this part of the yard here, but I'd say I think that's a first for me. Well, this is pretty cool. I was getting a 17. I was just hunting along this front sidewalk, and about 4 or 5 inches down I got this buckle. I cleaned it off already, but wow, check it out. Is that not a sharp looking buckle? That is really sweet. I'm guessing it's some type of lady's belt buckle, but definitely old and definitely cool looking. Well, I'll tell you what, this is kind of interesting. I found that piece of that old padlock, the one that said safe, up here, and I'm doing a little bit on the sidewalk here, and over across the sidewalk I got a high tone 2930, and check it out, I got half of a padlock. Won't that be cool if that other half fits this half? And I think it just might. It is definitely the same era. Wow, look at that. How cool is that? Oh, that'll be cool. So I've got the other one in my vehicle, so I'll have to go up later and see if they indeed match up and give me a whole padlock. Well, I went over to the vehicle and got this piece, and check it out. It is an absolute match. Watch this. See this piece right here? Right where the keyhole goes. Look at that. I tell you what, that does not happen very often when you can find both parts when they're separated. So that's awesome. That is just an absolutely fabulous padlock. Well, can you believe I actually found both matching halves of that old padlock? That is just unbelievable. Now, I also want to let you know, don't miss next week's episode, because Chris and I got together on a brand new permission, and it's a pretty cool one. Now, I really hope you enjoyed watching this episode, and here's one more look at all the cool things that were found in this hunt. Well, in honor of that sweet little gold child's ring, I thought I would share some great old photos that reveal just what the cool kids back in the day were wearing and doing. Those pictures are coming up in just a few seconds, and I know they're definitely going to make you smile. And I think we all could use that. And remember, it's history that makes a find a treasure. And I can't wait to see you back here next week on Finding America.